that own pets adopted a pet from a shelter or a rescue group? Oh, good. Some people have negative feelings about dogs that come from shelters or cats. They think that they've been sent there because they've had bad habits or whatever. Some have, but the majority of them are healthy, happy animals. I am here today to convince you that adopting a pet from a shelter or rescue group can be the most rewarding way of retaining a pet. Every year, millions of adoptable dogs and cats are euthanized because there are not enough homes to place them in. Eve Addison writes on the website Adopting a Rescue or Shelter Dog for Dummies, yeah, it's that series, says that by adopting a rescued animal, you not only get a good animal, but you feel good about supporting the welfare and management of the stray animals in your community. I have had pets for most of my life. We have right now 2 dogs and 3 cats. 2 of them are rescue animals. My children have all fostered rescue animals. I have a daughter that's a vet, and she has 3 cats and 4 dogs, all of which are rescue animals. When we were leaving her house one day, we saw this little shaggy dog walking down the street, and Sam said, "I bet that's going to Lisa's house." Sure enough, we showed up a couple weeks later, and there was Itchy. So we fostered a dog, and we later adopted him, and he was the sweetest dog we've ever had, and he'll always have a place in our heart. I want to convince you to find a pet at a shelter and rescue group by showing you how this is needed to save the lives of animals, how you get a better pet, and how you find the shelter or rescue group and are able to adopt. The website adoptapet.com says every year volunteers go and scour the shelters looking for puppies and kittens that are soon to be euthanized just because the shelters have run out of room. So they try to keep as many pets as possible and get them out for adoption. Approximately 4 million adoptable dogs and cats are euthanized each year because of overcrowding. And of these, 25 to 30% are purebred. Pia Sock of AdoptAPet.com says the volunteers search animal shelters, like I told you, to find the animals so that they can live longer lives and have a better chance of being rescued. If you want a specific pet or a specific breed, the best way to go is to a rescue group. They have rescue groups that are devoted to one breed. They have rescue groups that take in turtles and rabbits and all these other animals. They have rescue groups that specialize in senior animals or disabled animals. So if you're looking for anything specific, you're sure to find it. Adopting a pet from a shelter stops the spread of the puppy mills. Puppy mills are, I think most of you have heard of them, the way that the dogs are kept, and they're not kept healthy, and the same thing with most backyard breeders. There are some good breeders that they do make sure that the dogs that have genetic defects aren't bred, but not all of them are. And you can end up with a dog with a heart problem or eye problem or hip problem that isn't necessary. And the most common problem when there's been a popular overbreeding of dogs through the backyard breeding is that the disposition goes. Our first Golden was Golden, and she was supposed to be really sweet because they are. They're very gentle animals. She almost killed 2 of our small dogs. And so after that, we were really careful whenever we adopted from a breeder. There are many good. The need to adopt is obvious, but so are the rewards. There are many good reasons to adopt from a shelter. Eve Adamson says that adoption fees are usually less than pet shop fees, so you'll save some money. Pet Lovers Farm and Pet Community says that you receive more information about your new pet. If you go into a pet store, maybe the pet has come from a puppy mill, been there a day or 2, and they don't know anything about it. They don't know the background or anything like that. the shelters try to find out as much information as possible. I mean, sometimes they don't know, but they do try to find out as much as they can. The humane, they also screen the animals so that they screen the parents so that the Saint Bernard doesn't end up in a one-bedroom apartment. And they look for animals that will fit your disposition and needs, because if you work all day, you don't want an animal that needs attention all day, or you're going to come home to a trashed house. So they do try to match up the pet to the owner. The Humane Society of the United States website says you will get a healthy pet. Most shelters spay or neuter the animal before you get it, and they have them have a vet check, and also shots appropriate to age. And when you adopt a rescue pet, you're helping to overcome overpopulation, which is the biggest reason that dogs and cats get euthanized today. And I guess one of the best reasons is adopting a rescue pet makes the owner feel good, but the bond that comes between a pet that you've rescued and the owner, it can't be understated. It really is very strong. We have owned many pets, but the one dog that'll stay in our hearts is Starbucks, and this is Starbucks. My husband went out one foggy, rainy night 7 years ago in November, and he was going to get something from the car, and he didn't come back for a while, and I was starting to wonder what happened to him. He comes back about 30 minutes with this big, brown, wet dog following him. And I said, "What is that?" And he said, "Well, he doesn't have a home." I said, "How do you know he doesn't have a home?" He says, "Well, I went to all the neighbors. He doesn't have a home." And I said, "Well, we can't keep him. We've got 2 big dogs. That's it." Well, I agreed to call the animal shelter, and they talked me into fostering him. And that was the beginning of the end. He was so sweet. He was already potty trained. He was well trained. He never barked, never growled, never showed his teeth. He was gentle, and everybody that saw him fell in love with him. When later years we had to take him to UT vet school, all the vets, when he'd come in, would say, "There's Starbucks!" It was like he was a rock star. It was really something. And we never knew how old he was. Every time we took him to the vet, he gained a year. The best guess was he was about 10 when we got him. And so we knew we weren't going to have him for very long, but we decided to enjoy every moment that we had with him, and we did make the most of every moment. And he was with us for 5 really great years. We still get sad and still miss him, but you know, like I said, he'll always be in our heart. Now, hopefully I have convinced you to adopt a rescue animal, so now I'll tell you where you can find one. There are 3 main types of shelters. The first one is open access, which will take any kind of animal, dogs, cats, horses, whatever. They're usually community shelters like the Williamson County Animal Shelter, and that's in Franklin. There are humane societies which are private. They can either be open access or they can be restricted to a breed or a number of animals or species of animals. Happy Trails Humane started in 1996 as a virtual shelter. And then in 2000, they became a shelter, physical shelter for cats in the factory in Franklin. They still will place dogs, but they don't have a physical place for dogs. And then the foster groups usually have no physical location. Volunteers take these pets into their home until they are adopted. Websites like Pet Finders or Adopt a Pet keep extensive lists of groups to foster unwanted pets. And Happy Tails is a non-kill shelter. You must be 18 to adopt. The fee for cats, kittens up to 6 months is $100. 6 months to 1 year is $75. adults are 45, and that includes spay and neuter, up-to-date vaccinations, feline leukemia test, flea treatment, and microchipping. For dogs, puppies up to 6 months, pure breeds, and small dogs, they're $150. Special needs dogs are $75. All other dogs are $110, and that includes spay and neuter, vaccinations, heartworm test, and microchipping. You have been presented with the need for getting a pet from a shelter or a rescue, the advantages of adopting from a shelter, and where to adopt. You can save the lives of more than one animal by adopting and help stop the spread of puppy and kitten mills. If you adopt a pet, you will have a friend for life that will bring you years of joy. So please, adopt a pet from Happy Tails. And if you can't adopt right now, Christmas time is a great time to give a donation in the name of one of your family members or friend as a Christmas gift. That's what we're doing this year, and that helps. They, none of the shelters have a lot of money, and anything that they can get, they really appreciate. And thank you very much for letting me speak to you.
You're welcome.
How many of these speeches do you